week ago, I was having a conversation with some friends of ours, candidly, over a beer during the weekend. Their names are Dale and Susan. And we were talking about whether they should do maybe a refinance. Now, I realize it doesn't sound like beer conversation, but in the Cramm household, it is. So, we were discussing, do you do a refinance, pay off some of the debt that they had, or does it make sense for them to potentially buy a new home? They wanted to pay off the debt because they were looking, saying, how do we get ourselves best positioned so that they can do some refurbishment and some fix-ups on the home that they have? Ever since COVID happened, they, like ourselves, found out that they've been doing a lot more officing from the house versus their offices. And so they just needed a little more space. So they were talking about, kind of moving walls and doing all this, that, and the other. And as we talked about it, I said, let's look at both options. Because what you might find is that you're able to buy the dream house that you want with the space that you need and do it in such a way that it doesn't, break the bank. So this is what we went through. This is the total cost analysis I put together for them. And I think that you'll find it of interest. What we looked at was the 30-year fixed cash out refinance. They figured their property's worth about $550,000 and they owed $332. So we could certainly do a loan on that. Fairly easy to do. It would allow them to pull out the cash that they need and pay off their debt. So they had in total debt about $1,800 a month. So with the refinance and the debt, they're putting out, we'll call it roughly $3,700 a month. So they're comfortable putting out $3,700, but that other additional amount, that other $1,800, is going towards things which are not a home. It's going towards, credit cards and student loans and all the other things which just come with a factor of life. So we said, let's look, if you did sell the home and you took the equity, paid off all that debt, what kind of home could you afford? Well, in this case, we started out with this one, which was a 30-year loan, 5% down, a purchase price of $750,000. Well, that really got them into their sort of dream home category. And we said, how do we best finance that and keep it within around that same payment range? So the first mortgage is about $2,500. You add in a payment for a second mortgage because that enables us to keep it on a conforming loan, which works better for them and how that they can get approved. So they're putting out now $4,000 a month towards their home, and that's all tax deductible. And they're paying $4,300 versus $3,700. So for a difference of about $500 a month, they're not trying to figure out how do we, live in a bunch of dust and move walls and whether or not the price of the lumber is going up, four times between now and when the time it's done. But they were really able to say, wait a minute, we're able to buy a home that puts us into a dream home status. We talked a little more, probably on the second beer by now. And we said, let's talk about whether or not maybe you want to spend $4,300 or do you want to spend a little bit less? So we looked at an option. We said, all right, how about if you put 10% down and you buy a home at $663,000? You don't have a second mortgage. Your first mortgage payment would be about $2,500. So overall, they're paying with their first mortgage, the principal and interest, and their homeowners insurance, taxes, all the rest of that hoo-ha. They're paying about $3,000 a month, which again, compared to the $3,700 that they're paying right now, is actually now a savings for them of $700. So that enables them to not only sell the home that they have, but step up over $100,000 in purchase price and sell the home in this crazy market where they'll probably get over what it's listed for anyway, and get into a property that fits them very, very, very well. And so anyway, our job is to put options on the table for them. Our job is to put options on the table for you. If you know somebody who's in a similar boat, where you've got some debt, you've been wondering, do we refinance or do we take some money out to do that? Or maybe the house is getting a little tight and you want to look at some other options. Let us explore those for you. We'll put together a total cost analysis. And while we may not be having beers doing it, we'll at least be able to give you some food for thought and hopefully position you so that you can find the dream house of your choice. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great afternoon. See ya.